Hello and welcome to another episode of FTU Life After the Military. I'm your host, Tony Rodriguez, and today I am joined by Shaun Murphy. Shaun, if I'm correct, you just had a book published?
I did, yes. Unbreakable Valor.
Yeah, so just to start off, like to jump into it, can you just explain to me, like, how did that come about?
Yeah, so maybe a few years ago, I think, I've always had a thought of putting a book together. And I know my wife she met this publicist company, introduced me. I got on a call, but I just wasn't ready or think I was ready at the time. But I was on a speaking engagement, Allentown, PA. A brother named Ron James brought me out there. And I'm talking high school, middle school, really cool. After we have a little conversation, we had grab some lunch. He said, "Shaun, where's your book? Your book is your business card." And I'm like, huh. Since that conversation, I've been on a direct path to get published. And I had, on my drive lives thoughts and content and stuff like that. And I just decided to compile it. And I know I like to talk a lot about, overcoming failure, pretty much my story. Though this book isn't just my story, it's like, sprinkled in there as, to land home some points. I've been overcoming failure for years, and it took me a while before I fell in love with failure, right? They say, failure's not an option. I got a Caribbean moms, and, that's what I heard all the time. Failure's not an option. And then as you grow and, elevate your mind and your thinking, you understand that failure is that necessary thing. Failure is feedback. It's the best life teacher, because when you fail, you learn from your lessons, and then you grow, and then eventually you win when you get to where you want to go. So that's how Unbreakable Valor came about. Triumph through the soul of resilience. And I teach a course. Well, I've taught a course. I've taught at levels: middle school, high school, and college. And I realized my high schoolers, the seniors, they're going into college and they lack clarity. They're unable to communicate. They lack that confidence. And I'm like, sheesh. Then I see a common thread, 'cause I teach a first year experience course at college, and the same thing. And I said, you know what? I pair that even with my veterans who get out the military and they don't have a plan fully baked, and they're unclear and they're unsure and they're lacking their confidence because they didn't transition and they lost their sense of identity. They lost their community. So when I think of those three groups of people, and then I like my story, because I fit into all three of those, I was just like, you know what? I have an opportunity here to help people, right? They say hurt people, but heal people, help people, right? And I became that person to help people, and I use the book as a tool, recognizing I'm a guide. Nothing super special about me, but I use my lived experience as a blueprint, or hopefully a roadmap for persons who share similar lived experiences, can use to sidestep some landmines that life's going to throw at you in life.
Yeah, no, that's great. Here on this podcast, I talk a lot about transition for the military, right? But just hearing you speak, it's like, yeah, everything that you just said resonated with me, because coming out of high school, it was difficult for me to express myself. In
Mm-hmm.
college, I was still a little lost. And then leaving the military, I was in for 22 years. And,
Mm.
at each stage, you're told, it's like, you're special, you're this, you're this, you're this. And all of a sudden, one day it just disappears. And that's hard for some people.
Yeah, yeah. I had a guy, I think he was a first sergeant, and I often just check in on some of my guys. I'm like, yo, how you doing? How you really doing? And he said, Murph, I did 20 some years, and I'm always used to my phone ringing. Someone's looking for me, and now I'm retired. I'm home. Phone don't ring. No one's looking for me, and he was in a place. You know what I mean? So I would check up on him, like, routinely, to just let him know, I'm here. I'm looking for you. You know what I'm saying? You important. And it is a thing, when you transition. I remember I'm a guy that pretty much has life mapped out in terms of like my next 3 to 10 steps. And when I got out, I was 42 Alpha, so I ran the S1 shop, Fort Leonard Wood, right? Fort Leonard Wood, forget what battalion, but they were replacing the leadership with civilians. So I'm like, okay, call it E6P and E7 slot. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just get out and I'm gonna take one of those slots.
Yeah.
Not factoring in, you need your college degree, you gotta, qualify for the job. I just thought my social capital was enough. Man, was that arrogant of me. So I go through the ACAPs and all that kind of leisurely, not really locked in, knowing that I'm a shoe in. And I transition out, buddy, was not a shoe in. And it hit me like a ton of bricks because, you go from E6P making what we making BH, BAS, and now they're telling me, $10, $12 an hour. And I'm just like, what am I going to do with that? And it was just wild to me. And, I struggle. Like when I write my book about my life, that chapter is going to be called The Blue Funk because that's when I was so unsure. I was blaming and complaining. And I'll tell you this. Fast forward in hindsight, you kind of look and they say, well, how'd you go from in the pits? Because that's where I was, in the pits, to living in prosperity. And I've coined my talks around this, my life coaching stuff around the 5M formula. Right? How did I do it? Mindset, motivation, money management, and massive movement. Well, first, mindset. I had to shift my mindset because I was blaming leadership. They didn't square me away. They didn't set me up. But it was really me because I was lying to myself. I had to create that creative mindset where, you know what, there has to be a way. I had to be resourceful. Motivation. I had to lean into my why. And for me, it was my mom. Shouts out to Mom Dukes. My mom's from Barbados. She came here with nothing and in hopes of making a way to send back because her mom's was illiterate. Her dad was illiterate. He was a fisherman, and my grandmother sold what he caught at the market. And I'm like, my mom's didn't have nowhere near the resources I have access to, and she did it. She made a way. I gotta figure this out. You know what I'm saying? I gotta figure this out, and I leaned into that. And then I think about money. I was chasing money, trying to get rich quick schemes.
Yeah.
Just trying to get there fast. But I stopped chasing money and started chasing my purpose. Right? You got to figure what's your purpose. Why are you here? You know what I'm saying? Where are you? And for me, it's about impact. It's about expansion. You look at my life, whether it's a resume or just me, the thread is service. Always giving back. Selfless service, I live by that. How do I help people who can't do nothing for me? You know what I'm saying? And the last two, management, which is really important. You got to know you are the CEO of your life. So I always say you need 6 people on your team. 6 people to help you go next level. You you go to funerals, and I've been to too many to count. And the pallbearers, those guys holding you up. I want a group of people holding me up while I'm here, where I can smell the roses. So 6 people I want you to write down. You want to have the doubter. This is your devil's advocate.
Yeah.
This is the person who finds the blind spots in your plan. You want the instigator. They keep you fired up about whatever you're doing. The example. Who do you want to be like? Who do you want to make proud? Who are doing what you want to do at a high level, right? Follow that. Then you got the taskmaster. Someone you checking with daily, someone you checking with weekly, someone you checking with monthly. Where am I at? Am I hitting my benchmarks? Where am I struggling? Where can I do better, right? You need those accountability partners. And the last two, the cheerleader, because the journey from where you at to where you want to be, it's long. It's going to take time. You're going to want to quit. And you need somebody there to keep you just cheering you on. Anything you do is amazing because you need that positive reinforcement. And lastly is the connector. This person gets you into places you can't get in on your own, right? They're advocating for you when you don't even know about it. And the last M is the massive movement. There's 4 types of action. No action, you just there. Then there's retreating. You start something. Oh man, this is kind of hard. Damn, it's going to take a long time. Then you retreat. But I'm going to encourage you, instead of changing the target, increase your action, okay? Then you got average action, and then you got massive action, where you just 10x your efforts and energy. And that, good people, is when I look back at the journey, is how I got from where I wanted to where I was to where I wanted to be, and I'm still climbing. So yeah, that's kind of a just sharing that thought.
No, actually, that's funny that you say that, Shaun, because right now I'm currently going through a PhD program, and it's just so long. It's I try to equate it to like doing that 12-mile road march that you'd have to do,
Check.
but like after each step, it feels like they put another pound on you that you're carrying, right? And I'm in year 3. I'm tired,
Yeah.
But to hear you actually makes me feel better about the journey, because I don't have to do it. I get to do it,
Powerful.
and so it's a different way of looking at things where, who were my cheerleaders? Who do I want to be like? I want to be like my parents. My parents, my father had a 6th grade education from Mexico, and my mother had a 9th grade education from here in the States. And somehow they raised 6 children, bought a house, and had a future together.
Beautiful.
And so I get to go to school and pursue my dreams because of the foundation that they set. And sometimes I get a little tired, and sometimes I need somebody like you to put things in perspective. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. No, for sure. And I 2 things. One, I aspire. So I dropped out of college, and fast forward 15 plus years. Now I teach a course and how to be successful in college. So to anyone listening, it doesn't matter how you start, doesn't matter your circumstance. If you want to do said thing, you just lock into it. It might take time. You might have to take time off, come back to it, but just keep chasing that thing. I, like you, I want to do my PhD just because, I just think it's a great end to my collegiate journey. However, today my why isn't strong enough, right? Because just like he just said, he's in year 3. He wanted to quit. He wanted to give up. But his why, I want to be like my parents, is pushing him to keep pushing forward. I just don't have that why for that yet at this stage of this phase in life. So I encourage you, your why is so powerful, because them times when you just want to just stop. Like I always say, who loses if I don't win? I have to win. There's people that's looking up to me that I don't even know, just like you. There's people looking at you. They're like, now when you do it, they're gonna be like, you know what? I watch you do this thing, and you inspire me to do that, and you be just like, really? You gotta keep showing up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna encourage you all. Anybody with big goals and big objectives, it's gonna take time. It's gonna be hard, but just keep pushing one step at a time. One step at a time. And eventually you get there, because what happens is when we do 1 step, 2 step, 10 steps, we build momentum. Now we get the rolling. You know what I'm saying? And momentum translates to happiness. That's progress, translates to happiness. Now you get to look back. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, I came a long way. And that's what it's about. So I'm gonna encourage you to really be in the present and appreciate how far you've come, instead of looking at what you're missing or how far you got to go. All right. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So no, those are excellent points, because again, it's easy to quit, right? Like I went to college. You get right out of high school, I went to college, went 3 years, and then stopped, and got married, joined the military, and it was my children who I realized I have to do better. So I got my degrees while I was in the military.
Check.
And now I'm pursuing it after my PhD after that I'm out. But the one thing I want to touch on is, like you were mentioning, how when you were in the military, or when you transitioned out, you were thinking that the first sergeant that you were saying, that it was so quiet, right? That he's not used to that. I found that is common for people who transition out. And there's just this how can I put it? It's almost like there's this mistake in the military where we confuse coworkers with friends,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
And so I have friends from the military, but I had a lot more coworkers,
Check.
and never expected those coworkers to contact me ever again. I
Mm.
reach out to some because I want to make sure every veteran out there is doing well. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like in the military where there's only so many slots to get promoted.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're out. We can all win. We can all be
Right. Right.
successful. We can all be,
Mhm.
5-star generals or,
Yeah.
whatever you want,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I'll tell any sometimes I advise the vets when you get out, you want to have three people in your life. One, someone who's still in the military that you still connected to. Two, someone who recently got out and they can give you some advice or help you navigate because they've done it, whether it's 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and they know real time what you can expect, and that's valuable information. And then someone who's been out, say 3 to 5 years, and probably specifically doing something you want to do, because they have a blueprint as well. And those three people can help, because remember, the one that's still in keeps you still connected to that familiar community. And then the other two you just have to tap into to help you navigate the outside world. And it's important because when you get out, man, you solo. It's like you gotta actively find community. You gotta actively seek things that's gonna keep your mind engaged. And now if you job seeking, it's a job to find a job. You know what I mean? So it can easily take you onto the black hole into like depression. So I encourage you all to just really lay out a blueprint of like what's my next steps look like. I took it for granted, the whole ACAT process. I'm sure it's a whole nother process now. So definitely tap into that. And something you talked about earlier made me think. I was with a group of some interns, and I was on a podcast the other day, and it was like, it said, where's the wealthiest place in the world? I was telling them, and I told them it's like the graveyard. It's where, people take their dreams and ideas that never came to life. And well, why would they do that? And, I came up with this acronym. One is the fear of failure. And it's, we afraid to fail. And I talked about that a little bit earlier. And I want to encourage you, jump out. There's a book, matter of fact, I recommend, Go for No. It talks about the 5 levels of failure. One is the ability to fail. 2 is the willingness to fail. 3, the wantingness to fail. 4, fail big and fail fast. And the last one is fail exponentially, when your whole team, people around you are failing for the cause that you're pursuing. And what happens is you if you fail once, fail twice, fail 3 times, you got 3 data points on what doesn't work. So now you know how to pivot, right? So it's fear of failure. Then there's the lack of support. Oftentimes we come up with, we got an idea, we want to do this thing, and you want your friends and family to be on board with this. But guess what? It's your vision, your idea. I'll tell you a story personally. It's for me. So I've lived many lives. One, college dropout. People know me as Army guy. People know me as the promoter. But no one would ever label me as a musician, right? Well, about 5 years ago, I decided I wanted to do something different than just be a speaker. So I said, I'm gonna do some spoken word. And then I did a whole album with spoken word with beats, really cool. And I tried my hand at rapping. One song almost took me out. It was harder than I expected, but I did it, right? And everybody said, well, yeah, you spoken word poet. And I was so attached to the music part of it. I didn't ask anybody for permission. I gave myself permission to do something that I wanted to do. And ladies and gentlemen, I went from someone who only pressed play on Spotify to now I probably got 3,000, I think 5,000 people listening monthly. How crazy is that? I committed to this new thing. I studied the game. I studied Jay, Common, Will Smith, because I think I, associate with their kind of vibe. And I just did it. And fast forward, I think 2 years ago, I'm at Launch Music Fest in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. My daughter comes up to me. She said, Daddy, I just did a 20-minute set, all music. She said, you said you was going to do this 3 years ago. This is wow. It's amazing. And bro, I told them, you don't got to be smart or talented. Focus and effort. You can do anything. Daddy don't know nothing about music, but I'm about to lock in. I'm going to put in 10,000 hours. I'm going to study the game. I'm going to become a student of the game. And then I'm going to do this thing. I didn't go to my family or friends, nobody, hey, I think about going into music. I just did it. I don't care if they tap in because my why is to leverage my platform to increase impact to help people on a global scale. So it doesn't matter what they think. So I want to encourage you. Don't worry about your friends and family and them. What about, you want to do something that's far off. It's only far off because you didn't do it yet, but you're going to do it. All right. So don't worry about a lack of support. The people will come. And once you start building traction from the strangers, friends and family, oh, I know them for years. We did this. Stop. Leave me alone. Stay where you were. But so I hope you pick up what I'm putting down. Next is anxiety, self-doubt. Self-doubt. This is the thing we struggle with. And I say self-doubt comes from a few places. I'll talk about one. Oftentimes we say to ourselves, you know what? I'm a quit vaping. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to stop something else. But we don't quit. We never start. We don't stop. Then we do, and then the cycle happens again. And then you come to a point where, I want to do my PhD. I'm ready. But self-doubt seeks in. And it's the fact that you have been lying to you. You don't believe you. So how do I combat that? You got to start talking nice to yourself. Positive affirmations. Doing what you say you're going to do. And then you're going to start balancing that thing out. But that self-doubt is it'll get you. And this last one, stalling. Translation, hesitation. Procrastination. So procrastination is when I teach my college course, I call it the procrastination monster. We misjudge time, and time is an irreplaceable asset. And we say, I'll do this when I get to another level. I'll do this when my money right. I'm gonna encourage you, good people. Start where you at. Start with what you have. Just start. All right. Just start. Don't let procrastination, because that's how you take your dreams to the graveyard. All right. And lastly is hesitation when you fear of judgment, which we kind of touched on. But I just wanted to share that. I shared that today in my one of my meetings. And I just know that there's this thing that stops us from achieving greatness. And it's you can tie it back to what I just shared with you.
Those are excellent points. I grew up in East Los Angeles, predominantly Latino,
Mm-hmm.
Lower scale of the economic spectrum, just a poorer neighborhood.
Yep.
But the common mentality there was, if I just stick in it, if I just keep going, someday my ship will come in.
Mm.
And it wasn't until, my older sister said, screw that. Don't wait for your ship to come in. Build your ship.
Build a
and
ship.
sail that bad boy out of here.
Yes. Build a ship.
And so for me, what I realized now in my old age is I've been lucky, right? Whenever I've been down on my luck, I've made some poor choices. I've either had my sisters there or in the military, I like a lot of people, went to the Middle East, got blown up by a roadside bomb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came back, was drinking a lot, ended up earning a fail grade Article 15 and a general letter of reprimand, right? Everybody told me that's it. I had made the E7 list, was going to be promoted to sergeant first class, took me off the list. I was told, just get out of the Army because you'll never get promoted. You're at year 9, you're a staff sergeant, you'll never get promoted. I had a good friend, Drew. He's like, help me out. He's like, hey, let's address the real problem. Like, don't worry about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's address the real problem with being blown up. It's like, and then the rest we can work on. We'll take care of that as it comes, And so that's what we did. It took a while to stop drinking, but I eventually stopped. And he helped me, like, hey, if the Army has a manual that can tell you how to theoretically survive a nuclear blast, and they have a manual that tells you how to build a restroom in the woods. They probably have a manual that says how to get rid of your general letter reprimand and your Article 15.
Mm.
And so that's what I did. I just researched it, had them expunged eventually, and
No.
got promoted to E8.
Wow.
Retired as a first sergeant.
Mm.
But it's
Mm.
because I don't consider Drew a friend. Drew's my brother now. He's,
Mm.
you know, and I've always been lucky in that aspect where I've had one, two, maybe three people that when everything's going bad, or
Mm-hmm.
theoretically bad for me, because in the grand
Yep.
scheme of things, it's not that bad. That they're there to help me out. They're there to lift me up.
That's important, man. That's important. Yeah, that tribe, man. Because you get in. It's been so funny because in life, you gotta be funny who you let around you. I would tell you, you gotta conduct a friend and family audit. If they toxic, they gotta go. If they're not adding value, help you be better, they gotta go. It's just it's a energy drainers. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta be overprotective of your space. But like in them times, I had a friend. I remember, this is my guy, and I don't talk to people a lot like that, but we talk. But it's like a year or so goes by, and I finally talked to him. He just said, he was in a bad place, and I said, bro, that's when you gotta lean on me. You know what I'm saying? You gotta use them lifeline when you in a bad. Don't be in a bad place alone. You know what I mean? Because you don't know where that could spiral. So it's super important. I'm gonna encourage everybody watching, listening. I don't care if you ain't talked to so and so in a year, 5 years. Shoot them a text. I have a new habit. Every morning, I shoot an empowering text, uplifting text, inspiring text. I just go through the phone, scroll wherever it stop, boop, I send it. And I've gone back some, yo, you don't know how much I needed that. You just don't know what people going through. And they get a text from you, and then it says that. It's like, wow, so just something that, I picked up along the way. One of my new habits. Shouts out to one of the books I read, Atomic Habits, James Clear. If you're looking to help change your life, that's a good one. Definitely. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Shaun, about your book, I see it's here on Amazon, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to purchase the last one.
Uh-oh.
So it says that more are on the way, but I want to make sure that we get this before, we still
Yeah.
have plenty of time. But
Yep.
if somebody wants to purchase your book besides Amazon, where could they find it?
Yeah, man. Let me see. Go to my Instagram. I think in the bio because I have a landing page for it. So my Instagram is Mr. Mister Motivation. The O's in motivation are zeros for zero excuses. But definitely tap in. I'll show you what it looks like. I got a copy here. Unbreakable Valor. Triumph through the soul of resilience. Yeah. Again, it's just for anyone just going through something. Want to get some tips and strategies how to bounce back, how to weather the storm. And I'm gonna tell you, man. I tell people, like I said, chase failure, but be a storm chaser because if you have a goal or objective, it's not about you hitting the goal or the objective. You could stumble as long as you keep going forward. You're gonna hit it. It's who you become on the way to hitting that goal or objective. Because whatever goal you got set, you gotta change. You have to become somebody different because that's where you headed. I mean, you deal with people that know you and they're like, dang, I can't get a hold of this dude. He changing up. What am I supposed to do? Stay the same? You gotta change. You gotta elevate. And remember, just like when you board a flight, you going up. The higher you go, you're gonna hit turbulence. It's gonna get rocky. That's
Yeah.
the same thing with life. When you start climbing, things are gonna get harder. You gotta go through the test, right? You go through the test, you have what? A testimony. That's part of life. So I'm gonna encourage you. Pick up the book, get your notepad and highlighters out. Tap in. I'd love to hear any feedback. You hit me on IG all day. But yeah, would love to hear your thoughts and definitely that 5-star review on Amazon if you feel so inclined. Yeah.
No, definitely. So again, this podcast, I created it for veterans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not trying to be the next Joe Rogan or Pat McAfee. I'm just trying to help some veterans out there, who when COVID hit, and the world went through that phase. I was at year 20, but in
Mm-hmm.
year 21, I saw that a lot of people were working remote, or a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
who had just decided that they were going to take a break. So there were a lot of jobs. And so for me, I realized, right now might be a good time for me to retire.
Mm-hmm.
So I might be able to find a job. I don't care what job it is. I'm the type of person that I have to do something. I can't just sit at home,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? And so that's what I did. I got out in the summer of 2022, and there were a lot of job offers because
Mm-hmm.
people still hadn't gone back to work.
Mm.
Well, fast forward 3 years, the job market is drastically different.
Check.
And it's a lot harder just to get an interview, not even get a job offer, just to get
Mm-hmm.
an interview. And so for me, I like to have people on here who just can provide some advice,
Yeah.
some words of wisdom, anything to help our veteran brothers and sisters.
Yeah, yeah. A few things came to mind while you was talking. So, like you, when I left, well, years removed when I immediately left, I went into education. I joined Teach for America, um, nonprofit org focus on bringing professionals and having them serve 2 years in low income communities as educators. And I was fortunate enough to stumble onto that opportunity through a friend who was a core member. Fast forward, I got out after I did 3 years in the classroom, middle school, and I told them, I said, listen, I think we should be recruiting veterans to come into the classroom because historically, Troops and Teacher did that. But I knew the machine that Teach for America was taking on that mission was going to be dope. I took a 20-page PowerPoint and turned it into You Serve for America, Now Teach for America. You can look it up. Where we recruited veterans, and that was just like really dope. And I gave veterans an opportunity to continue serving because a lot of time we think we take off the boots and like it's over, but we can serve in other capacities. So education is definitely one, and then board service. I'm huge component of board service. I think it all goes down at the board level. Like the board of directors for these nonprofits dictate what happens in the communities you live in. Why not serve on a board? Find something you're passionate about. For me, I grew up, had spots of homelessness. I served on Habitat for Humanity board. I served on Leadership Lancaster board, Workforce Development board. These are just things I like, especially for entrepreneurship. That was really dope. And so I'm going to encourage you. I was on DAV board, Disabled American Veterans board. So I did my fair share of board service. I've taken a break now because it's a commitment. But I always say, you give the 3 T's of giving. You give your time, your talents, and your treasures. So your time, board service, your talents. If you are a savvy accountant, you could be the bookkeeper for the nonprofit. You know what I'm saying? That's how you can give back. I always lead with giving. A book I love to recommend, The Go Giver. Lead with giving. Anything you want out of life, you got to give it. You want compliments, you got to give compliments. You want money, you got to give money. And I stand by that. My other thought was when you transition from the military, I mean, you got to have a stomach for this, but I'm going to suggest exploring, especially how society is turning. Next 10 years is going to be really different. Entrepreneurship. Get with the SBA. You know what I'm saying? I have my veteran disabled service veteran cert, whatever that is. I can't remember the acronyms, but get with SBA, and I'm gonna say, look for a business to buy. Okay, people want to start their own business. Oh, I did it all wrong. Buy a business that's the profit and loss statement. Oh, y'all make 200,000 this year. Cool. So and so is tired. He want to retire. Kids don't want the business. A lot of businesses now, the older dudes and dudettes, they want to give it to their kids. Their kids take it and just sell it. I want no part. I want no laundromat. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll take that up off of you. So I want you to start thinking a little outside the box than the regular 9 to 5 or to start your own business with your passion. Leverage SBA, get the financing and the financial literacy counseling. Buy a business, partner with your battle buddy, and they bring marketing, you bring leadership, and y'all take over that thing and scale it. buddy, that's the sauce, okay? I think that's the sweet spot this next 10 years. Don't come out, I always want to start a bit. Listen, skip that. Do that later. Build the bank from this other business because it's already established. It has 5 years of business credit. It has all the things. It's making money. You got the profit and loss statement. You the balance sheet. I say go that route and just go all in. Because, see, we got that work ethic. We're probably going to outwork the previous owner. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to, if you on that right trajectory, you should double whatever it's making there and just find ways to add value. If I got a laundromat, the first thing I'm gonna look at is are they digitized? Oh, can we add fold and pickup? Boom, you already adding value. Okay, so that's my thinking and my advice to vets getting out, to just have that mindset like, all right, how do I create wealth? You might not want to have a lavish lifestyle, but I'm gonna help, like, say, creating wealth. That mindset is gonna keep you in a good place, right? Because then you can set yourself up and then you can do all the things that you want to do, whether it's golf, serve, but we still have to think about, like, the future. How am I going to sustain this lifestyle once I transition from the military?
No, that's an excellent point. So for me, I did 21 of my 22 years here at Fort Bragg, right? Because I jumped out of airplanes. So
Yep.
yeah, that's where I'm going to be. But there were quite a few guys who got out and started their own farms out here.
Mm.
And there was this one gentleman, Derek Jackson, who got out like at year 11. And it just so happens he got out maybe about 6 months before the country shut down for COVID.
Okay.
And he started his farm, right? And raising chickens
Mm.
and just selling eggs. And so he had to figure out how could he sell eggs while the country was locked down. So he had a delivery service,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because his wife they were full-time on the farm.
Right.
So the kids weren't going to school because it was online.
Right.
So everybody would pitch in at the farm and then Derek would just deliver the eggs locally.
Mm.
And so he got it. So they survived that first year of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And his farm's doing extremely well. They're cage-free eggs. But now he's expanded to what is it? I'm not going to say it's jerky, but it's like a protein bar.
Mm.
But it's basically it's meat, right? It's almost
Mm-hmm.
like a Slim Jim, but a healthier version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's diversified his portfolio now. And because that's taken off, he's been able to hire people to manage the farm. And now he is doing other things that he wanted to do.
Dope.
And to see I'm very happy for him because Derek is a smart person and he deserves the rewards that he's getting right now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things he said, I hope everybody's listening to, he started delivering his eggs. So you got to adapt to the times, right? I'm encourage everyone. I do this weekly. I bake out, 1 to 3 hours. I just kind of study, what's happening in AI, what's AI tools I can use to help be more efficient. Yeah, because it's not coming, it's here. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how does AI affect whatever you're doing? I'm sure there's an app for it or something. And then I forget the app. I don't got my thing up, but there's a page that will show you all the apps, free, paid, subscription, and you can kind of just hang out in the free side. You'd be surprised. I know we only know Chat GPT, but there's so many, scores more. But I'm encourage you, start studying what's going on with AI. Gary Vee's been talking about this for years. Tap into some of his talks and just read on your own, whatever your industry is. I've been looking at, how does AI gonna impact speaking, and then thinking about, what's that look like for me? As in you, what does it look like for you? So yeah, adapt to the times.
It's great that you bring up AI because one of the other things that I do is I help a company with their AI responses.
Mm.
So it depends on what your specialty is. You can sign up for whatever your specialty is, and then you can help with the AI response. What would be a more human-like response?
Mm.
And so, yeah, you're right. It's not just here. Like it's. I was
Yeah.
reading yesterday. That's one of the top bands on Spotify is an AI band.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Nuts.
so they're making music now,
Mm-hmm.
and we're listening to it.
Ah, man, 10 years from now, and
Yeah.
they got the Phoenix, isn't the Phoenix somewhere in Arizona? They got the smart cities. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. That's why I try to I keep young people around me, so I know I hear the lingo and know what they talking about, so I can stay up to speed. And then I just study and read. I encourage everybody watching and listening to do those things.
Yeah. So, Shaun, you were talking about how you worked in the high schools and then you worked some with veterans. I guess my question is like how that's pretty wide range,
Yeah.
on the spectrum. Like how do you do that? Like, so I've known some veterans who get out and they go work as JROTC instructors, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because they can still wear the uniform,
Yep.
right? But they're teaching military science.
Mm.
And then you have people like me where, I want to work with veterans to help our brothers and sisters out.
Mm-hmm.
You seem to be doing like both and more. I guess my question is, one, where do you find the time? And
Mm.
two, where do you find the patience? Because
Mm.
that,
Yeah.
the teenagers are a lot to handle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
veterans too, we can, depending on where we are in our life, we
Yeah.
can be a handful as well.
So with time, what's his name? The Quadrants of Time. I forget the author's name, but uh, again, it's systems, right? So for me, good or bad, I don't sleep that much, maybe 4 or 5 hours. So my main job now these days is stay-at-home dad. So I make sure I'm like the chief operating officer of the house. Married to medicine. So I told wife, you go be great. Do what you gotta do. Don't worry about nothing here. Tap in when you ready, your time allows you. And so that's priority. So when I'm up 4:30 to 7:15ish, I'm locked into whatever thing I'm focusing on, whether I'm rehearsing my speech, rehearsing my music, I got a show, I got a keynote. So that time I maximize there. But patience, you know what? I do a lot of self-care, and I'm encourage everybody watching and listening. Self-care is it. I'm reading a book now, Becoming Supernatural. I'm on this quest to just use more of my mind. And like a common thread in a lot of my readings is just your breathing, um, sitting still. One of the books that helped change my mindset, The Four Agreements. That's these four agreements you make with yourself in the universe, and one of them is taking nothing personally. So if I go into school, the middle school, high school, the kids, if they little, off centered, I don't take it personal. They ain't got nothing to do with me. They may be projecting something. So I have like this elevated thinking, and I always see it as a teachable moment. But more importantly, when I open with schools, I open with music. So my intro, and now coming to the stage, I got this
Yeah.
voiceover. Then I open with a song, and they probably like, oh, I thought he was a speaker, So I kind of got their attention from the jump. Then I go into my story about, being a college dropout, and now I'm a college professor, not liking reading and writing. I'm a published author, bestseller. Now they curious. I got multiple businesses. I did this. I had business. This failed. Still kept going. They locked into the story because they curious. And I tell you, you got to spark curiosity out of people. They got to be like, who is this guy? How'd you do it? But why? And now all these things, I get the story tell. What do veterans? What we do? We tell stories. Oh, we tell
Yeah.
stories all day. So I've shaped my presentation to be that more of like entertainment, right? But like in everything I do, if I do Murphy's Law, which is a song, rap hip hop song with a hook, I do that a cappella with no beat, that hits different. And I will perform that, and they like, they be like, ooh, they snapping. I got them. But I tell you what really locks it in. I just did a show. I was in Delaware. It's called my Resilience Revolution Tour. I pick schools and I go and I just pop around. I was there for 4 days. I did 2 days, 4 schools, and a Cab Calloway. It was their whole, probably about 1,200 maybe. The principal said, they ain't never sat this still and quiet for a presenter to date because they were just captivated. And then, when it was time to go crazy, we went crazy. When it's time to lock in, but the Q&A is it. They ask some profound questions. But see, that's why for me, my homework is reading and studying and listening to the greats and listening to the Earl Nightingales and Bob Proctors. And I'm able to take that institutional knowledge, if you will, with my lived experience and tell a story that's relatable where they could digest the message and they like, they take that nugget home. So I remember they always say when I was going into speaking, you got to pick an audience. And I'm like, I don't know. Middle school is my jam. High schoolers need me. College, I'm teaching. Then my veterans need me. I got to figure out a way to do all of them. And with my messaging, it definitely resonates in each bucket, right? Embracing failure, building up self-confidence, understanding my why. And what I've done, all my music correlates to my message that I'm speaking and my spoken word poetry. So it all it's in one sync. And I just give them a lot of that good stuff. But it's fun, man. I love this. But my practice, though, rehearsal, let me tell you, listeners and viewers, you default to the level of practice. So if you're going to do a show, a speech, a talk, and you nervous per se, you're gonna default. So if you practice at a high level, you're gonna be all right because that muscle memory kicks in and you just gonna go. But if you poo during the practice, you're gonna poo on the stage. So I'm encouraging you, spend the time practicing. I'm talking study. Like I learned how to study from my wife because she, took her MCAT, study for the boards. I never knew how to study. She taught me how to study when I was taking the praxis exam. And I thought it was like a whole new world. She said, you got to study 20, 30 hours a week. And I was like, what? And I've taken that mindset and approached it to my speaking and music. And anything I go to, my preparation is everything. I'm going to tell you, I don't care how big or small the meeting is. Prepare. Understand what you're going into. Who you're going to speak with. What's their background. I remember I went to this one meeting. I was late. This dude, he was big. He did I used to do events. So I'm trying to get this guy to let me do an event at a venue. And I was late because I was on another call that I thought was more important. And I get off the call, I come in, and my guy is in there like, Murphy, these guys are upset. So I come in and say, hey, fellas, what's up? Hey, appreciate your patience. Let's get started. And I was like, so you went to Syracuse? And the guy was just like, well, how'd you know that? You want to create a common bound level. So he already was like, dang, this guy, he looked me up. Yeah, I looked you up. You thought I was going to walk into this meeting? You know what I mean? So this is a little nugget I want to share with you. Anything you go into, over prepare. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be the key to success.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because when I got the request to see if you wanted to be on, I looked you up on LinkedIn. First thing I did.
Yeah.
Right. Checked out your book on Amazon. Yeah.
Indeed, good brother. Indeed.
And the practice, right? So I went back to work with the military because I like it. I like to set hours. It's I just enjoy doing it. I enjoy the work that I do, right? I'm an analyst and I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to brief a 3-star admiral a couple of weeks ago. And I was just a little rusty because it's like I hadn't done that in quite some time.
Check.
So yeah, you're right. I practice easily 100 times for a 5-minute brief.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, there were still a few things I stumbled over. And all right, I'm human, right? And
Check.
but it was okay. It was a little scary because I'm in a room and there's like, I don't know, 50 people and they're all staring at me and
Staring eyeballs.
yeah, real high ranking people. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's all right. Nobody was shooting at me. Nobody was, they're just,
That part. Yep.
yeah, they're just listening. So it's practice makes it easier.
Mm-hmm.
So for any veterans that are out there that are like transitioning out, just know like, yeah, when you have to give that pitch for an interview, it's the same thing. You got to practice for the interviews.
Absolutely. And practice in the mirror. I'll tell you, you could record yourself, then like video record yourself, then press mute and just watch yourself, watch the things you do, and then unmute and listen to yourself. Try to eliminate the filler words. But that's the level of practice you got to be at, you know what I'm saying, to just really separate yourself, especially in interviews, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely.
All right, Shaun. So we're at about 51 minutes here.
Yeah.
And so, I like to go about anywhere between 50 minutes to an hour. Any longer than that, and people don't listen.
I feel you.
I mean, you got to do your analytics, right? You got to check and see.
Yes, sir.
So I want to make this podcast useful for people.
Yeah.
Typically, people listen to it on their way to and back from work.
Check.
So in these last few minutes that we have, is there anything else that you want to add that you think would be important for veterans or just anybody in general to know about you or about anything?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll leave you with 3 nuggets. The 2 things before I get there, definitely tap in. I'm on my socials, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, any way I could be of service. I would love to. 2, the book, like we said, Amazon, Unbreakable Valor. Go get that. And you can tap into me on Spotify, Mr. Motivation Music, Mr. Motivation, MISTER Motivation. My other IG, Mr. Motivation Music. You can tap into as well. New music coming out. My goal is to drop a new song every month this year. But yeah, 3 nuggets for you, man. Surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. 2, mastery lives quietly atop a mountain of mistakes. And lastly, nothing changes if nothing changes. Appreciate y'all.
All right. So, Shaun, thank you very much for being on. It was a privilege. And again, like, I don't know, I think you were the right person to have on for me because this PhD, it's like carrying a rucksack for 3 years.
Yeah. Keep holding on, brother.
Yeah. And, when I started, there were 12 people in my cohort. We're down to 5. We're down to 5. And so we all keep each other in it. It's like, we're almost there. Just keep going. So
yeah.
The little bit that you provided was good.
No doubt. I'm proud of you in advance, brother, because it's not an easy feat. And when you get there, you're gonna look back and just be like, dang, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Your kids looking at you, family looking at you, like, yo, you accomplished something dope. So keep going, brother.
All right. Thank you again. And everyone out there listening, just remember you have something that makes you special, something that makes you unique. Identify what it is, maximize it to its fullest potential, and I know you will be successful. Until next time, zot, 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 and roll tide.